Happy Wednesday, everybody. Crazy Asian vlog here. Was able to get my workout in this morning. Woke up at 5, got down there after brushing teeth. I put in the contacts, 5:08. So decided to do the ab routine that I just downloaded from an app. 30 days to get a six-pack. I don't know if it's necessarily true, but I'm gonna do it for 30 days and see what happens. And then was able to do chest and biceps. Did 6 sets of chest, 6 sets of biceps. And then got ready, gonna grab a little bit of breakfast, some protein, and then training again today at the corporate office, still here in Omaha. I'll show you a little clip of the workout. Boom. You like that? And then I was able to get in the ride last night. That was a ton of fun. I did some videos, and so we'll talk to you soon. Sherman's out. All right, everybody, was able to get the a quick bite. Some white eggs. Got to get the protein in there. Here's a little aloof. Just walking. We're literally across the street. So got the podcast in as well, because I was kind of cooling down after the gym, talking about motivation and what motivates me. You know, we're a 360 degree kind of approach where you look at, you know, spirituality, physicality, you know, your knowledge, your physicality, all these different characteristics, all these different categories. And it's different things that motivate me to get to where I want to go. Long, healthy life, on the health side, on the fitness side, and what motivates me, what keeps me positive is gonna be different than what motivates you. I find though that we're more motivated when we're doing things. That's the power of doing. And what motivates you today won't be what motivates you in the future. Sherm's out. Hey there, everybody. Crazy Asian vlog here. It's end of the day, Wednesday. Hope you're all doing very well. A lot of times as I, you know, kick out, basically journal out my day in a recap format. Number one, I wish I could show you a little bit more about what happens. Unfortunately, I work in a very heavy compliant world, and so there's not an opportunity to tell you kind of what I do specifically or who I do it with. Again, if you want to look on LinkedIn, you can kind of see where I'm coming from. However, I think that's not as important, nor does it, I think, give you any parameters. I think for anyone that is watching this on a regular basis, it's more or less, okay, hey, I want to kind of know what's going on. Maybe there's some different thoughts that kind of come up in the day, and so that's really what I can kind of share with you. And I think a lot of times people get stuck in this, hey, I need to have a social media presence, I need to have a personal brand, and they end up wanting to they think it's about like selfies and they think it's about like food, when it's more about strategically showing and sharing with people your life and your world. And that's the idea. I was having a good conversation with someone over dinner about like social media strategies and just talking about, you know, following hashtags and be able to engage with people, specifically those that you already work with. It's a great way to stay connected that way. You know, so I do have a podcast, I do have the vlog. I'm very, you know, active on, you know, Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram. And I want to be able to just share with you what I'm going through and some of my thoughts behind the different things that are going on. And so hopefully you find it of value. If there's anything that's on your mind, please let me know. There was a question that did come over from Elden Ford on Instagram, and he talked about being, you know, having a family, having a full-time gig that's, you know, taking care of all the, you know, all the bills and lifestyle, and then having this desire to do a side hustle and wanted to know what's the best way to be able to do it without sacrificing all those things. And so number one is I subscribe to the attitude of living in the abundance of the word and not the tyranny of the word or. So typically you'll find that people say, well, I can either have my full-time job or I am, you know, and really run at it and you know, do this side hustle, or I can have a good work-life balance. And I don't think it necessarily has to go that way if we're a little bit more strategic. And so my answer to Eldon would be that I would encourage you to see what you can do on the schedule of your time to be able to throw the side hustle in. Now it's tough just because there's a time and a season to be able to put in some of those different things. So And it definitely becomes a conversation that really goes along with your significant other, your partner, your spouse, and just saying, this is what I'm thinking, okay? So as I'm working here, I want to be able to, I have this vision, I have this ambition to do this side hustle, to create this. At the same time, I want to make sure that, you and the family are, top of the heap in all of this stuff. And where do you think I can find the time? And so it might be on a Saturday morning from 6 to 11. It might be on the evenings after the kids are to bed, maybe from a 9:30 to an 11:30. At the same time, I would encourage anybody, if you're in a relationship, I would have a definite look at doing a family night and a date night. So that way there's dedicated time where you're getting together as a family. Maybe there's, not TV, maybe you're playing board games, maybe you're playing cards, maybe you're, just playing with the kids, just in an enclosed area, like just in the family room. And, there's no electronics, there's no distractions, and maybe some music on in the background. And that way you're able to have you're able to have quality of time, not necessarily quantity, as you're looking at building this side hustle and hoping that it takes off and becomes the full-time hustle. The other thing that I would have a look at in being able to work smart is looking at my network. Is there an opportunity to fast forward my learning curve by talking to others? Is there a way to fast forward my opportunities that are placed in front of me by networking with the right people? I think so many people neglect their network in doing a side hustle because they don't want it to interrupt their full-time gig, or they don't know how to approach people. So because they don't know how, they don't actually figure out what's the conversation I can start having with people to be able to showcase with them this side hustle that I want to be doing. And I find that to be extremely powerful when we're able to introduce our network to the side hustle that we want to launch, and all of a sudden the opportunities start arising right before our eyes. So I hope that's helpful, Elden, as you look at balancing out the mix between what's going on in your world. And if you want a little bit more context, if you give me a little bit more specifics, that can be helpful. At the same time, let me know how the conversation goes with your spouse. I think she can be a great sounding board. At the same time, understand that if you have this ambition and they don't see the vision of where that can go, they don't see where the ambition can, don't let that deter you. Just again, figure out how, because you're not meant to convince them that what you're going to do is going to lead to great things. You just want to be able to explain to them that I want to devote some time to it. So how can I do it? A lot of times then you might get rid of hobbies. So I know when I was building out my practice, I didn't watch any. When I first became self-employed, I wasn't watching any sports. Saturdays really became, running on the business, typically in the morning, and then a lot of times then I would bring my kids to the office, and they would, watch TV, or while I worked on some computer stuff, or I worked at balancing it out the best that I could. Hopefully that's helpful for everybody. Have a great day. Sherm's out.